The American Wild West is filled with legendary tales of heroic sheriffs, notorious outlaws, and dramatic showdowns that have captured the imagination of people for generations. From thrilling horseback chases to high-stakes duels at sunset, these stories have become iconic images representing the rugged and untamed spirit of the West. Yet, beyond the drama and excitement, the real lives of these historical figures were often marked by hardship, struggle, and unexpected endings. William Buffalo Bill Cody was one of the most famous figures of the Wild West, known for his traveling show that brought the adventure of the West to audiences around the world. Cody's show was a mix of real-life reenactments and entertainment, and it played a significant role in shaping the popular image of the Wild West. However, Cody's life ended quietly and far from the excitement of his shows. He passed away on January 10, 1917, from kidney failure while visiting his sister in Denver, Colorado. Cody had expressed a wish to be buried on Lookout Mountain, known for its beautiful views. However, due to the harsh winter, the site was inaccessible at the time of his death, and his body had to be preserved for 6 months before he could finally be laid to rest there. During this time, some argued that he should be buried in Cody, Wyoming, the town he helped establish. Despite the controversy, Cody was buried on Lookout Mountain as he had wished, although some conspiracy theories suggest that his remains may have been secretly moved to Wyoming. Bat Masterson was another legendary figure of the West, known for his skills as a gunslinger and his role as a sheriff. Masterson, with the help of his friend Wyatt Earp, played a key role in the law enforcement of Dodge City, Kansas. His time as a sheriff was marked by both triumph and tragedy, including the heartbreaking death of his brother Ed while on duty. As he aged, Masterson grew tired of the violence and chaos of the West and decided to move to New York City with his wife, where he found peace as a newspaper journalist and even served as a U.S. Marshal. His life came to a quiet end on October 25, 1921, when he died of a heart attack while writing his final newspaper column at the age of 67. Wyatt Earp is perhaps one of the most famous lawmen of the Old West, thanks in part to the dramatization of his life in books and movies, particularly the famous shootout at the Oakley Corral. However, during his lifetime, Earp was not as well known as he would later become. In his later years, Earp moved to Los Angeles and became involved in the early days of Hollywood, serving as an unpaid consultant on Western films. He became friends with early film stars like Tom Mix and William S. Hart, who later served as pallbearers at his funeral. Earp passed away in 1929, and his funeral was marked by Tom Mix's emotional display of grief, underscoring the deep respect that Hollywood's early stars had for this iconic figure of the Old West. John Henry Doc Holliday, initially trained as a dentist, became one of the most notorious figures of the Wild West due to his involvement in gunfights and his close association with Wyatt Earp. Holliday's life was a mix of gambling, alcohol, and violence, which only worsened his health as he battled tuberculosis. In search of relief, Holliday moved to a sanatorium in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, where he died at the age of 36 in 1887. His legacy as both a deadly gunfighter and a skilled gambler has made him a memorable figure in the history of the West. Annie Oakley, born Annie Mosey, was one of the most remarkable women of the Old West. Her incredible shooting skills made her a star of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, where she performed for years and became a role model for young women everywhere. Her life took a romantic turn when she married Frank Butler, a professional sharpshooter whom she had defeated in a shooting match. The couple shared nearly 50 years together, touring and performing across the world. Sadly, Annie's life was cut short by anemia, and Frank, heartbroken by her death, passed away just 18 days later. The couple was buried side by side, symbolizing their lifelong partnership and the enduring legacy they left behind. Billy the Kid was one of the most infamous outlaws of the Old West, known for his violent life and his cat-and-mouse game with the law. By the time he was 18, Billy was already associated with around 17 murders, making him a wanted man. After being captured and sentenced to hang, Billy managed a daring escape, killing 2 guards in the process. However, his freedom was short-lived. Sheriff Pat Garrett eventually tracked him down and killed him at the Maxwell Ranch in New Mexico in 1881. Billy's death, like much of his life, has been surrounded by myths and conspiracy theories, adding to the legend of the notorious outlaw. Davy Crockett, known as the King of the Wild Frontier, was a legendary figure in American history, famous for his role as a pioneer, congressman, and storyteller. Crockett's most famous moment came during the Battle of the Alamo in 1836, where he fought alongside 200 men against a much larger Mexican force. The circumstances of his death remain a subject of debate, with some accounts suggesting he died heroically in battle, while others claim he was captured and executed after the battle. The mystery surrounding his final moments has only added to the legend of Davy Crockett. Jesse James was another famous outlaw of the Old West, known for his daring robberies and escapes. After his brother Frank retired from their life of crime, Jesse was left vulnerable and recruited new members for his gang, including the Ford brothers. The Ford brothers quickly took credit for the killing, securing the reward but also earning a place in history as the men who betrayed one of the West's most notorious criminals. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid were two of the most famous outlaws of the Old West, leading the infamous Wild Bunch Gang. After years of successful heists, they decided to escape to South America in search of a new life. However, they were eventually tracked down by Bolivian troops after a payroll robbery. In a final showdown, the pair was killed, though rumors have persisted that they may have survived and returned to the United States under new identities. The mystery surrounding their deaths has only added to the legend of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Belle Starr, known as the Bandit Queen, was more famous for her associations with criminals than for any criminal acts of her own. After serving time for horse theft, Belle continued to associate with outlaws, including members of the James Younger gang. Her life came to a violent end in 1889 when she was ambushed and killed near her home. The mystery of her death remains unsolved, with various theories suggesting that her own son may have been involved. Wild Bill Hickok was one of the most famous gunfighters of the Old West, known for his deadly accuracy and fearless demeanor. Hickok's fame began to fade after he accidentally killed his own deputy in a gunfight. Hickok was holding a pair of aces and eights when he died, a hand that has since become known as the dead man's hand. Calamity Jane, another legendary figure of the Old West, was known for her tough and adventurous spirit. Jane worked as a scout, rode with the Pony Express, and became famous for her skills as a shooter.